Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're looking at some fans who have put shame to the beautiful game. Barry Rogerson. Newcastle haven't lifted a single piece of silverware in the top flight for over 60 years. But they are continually topping the league for one thing, the worst behaved fans in the country. The Magpie supporters have received more bans than any other club in the UK for the last 3 seasons running. Over the course of the 2016-17 campaign, the then Championship side saw 111 of their faithful banned from the stands, 36 more than any other club. But no one can compare to Barry Rogerson. Back in April 2013, after Newcastle suffered a 3-0 defeat against arch-rival Sunderland, fan treble flared. Rogerson, who had been at the game, joined a large number of fans who decided to riot outside St James's Park. The Magpies season ticket holder was sentenced to 12 months in prison, charged with violent disorder after punching a horse. The horse, named Bud, who had been working with the Yorkshire Riot Police, didn't sustain any serious injury. But just weeks after his sentencing, the 40-year-old fan from Northumberland was free from prison, even in time for the next derby, but faced a ban from entering any football stadium for 6 years. Osnabrück fan gets match abandoned. Being a football fan has its highs and lows. However, after a game in Germany, one Osnabrück fan was left red-faced after losing an important game for his team. In a DFB Pokal match between third-tier Osnabrück and second-tier RB Leipzig, the lower league side took a shock lead with a goal from Halil Savran in the very first minute. The home team managed to hold RB off until the 71st minute, when one of the Lily Whites fans threw a lighter onto the pitch. Normally, this would just cause a stop in play as someone takes care of it. However, the projectile hit referee Martin Peterson in the head. The official had to retreat to the dressing room before being rushed to hospital for emergency treatment. The match was abandoned, and even though Leipzig were willing to play a replay, Osnabrück were handed a 2-0 loss by the governing body. Arsenal vs Millwall 1988. Millwall fans have long suffered from a terrible reputation thanks to their hooligan firm, the Millwall Bushwhackers, who reside at the Den, the home ground considered a hive of crowd disorder and fan violence. On the other hand, and on the other side of London, we have Arsenal, where fans armed with selfie sticks and prawn sandwiches are hosted at the Emirates, often criticised for its low rating decibels and empty seats. However, in 1988 it was a different story. Millwall travelled to Islington to face the Gunners in the FA Cup and planted around 12,000 fans in Highbury's North Bank. Violence between fans had erupted before the match had even kicked off, with 500 specifically trained police struggling to contain the trouble. 60 people were thrown out of the ground and 48 arrests were made, 41 of those were from the Millwall firm. But the hooligans didn't stop there, smashing Arsenal tube station and 3 local pubs near the stadium itself. Juventud fans attack referee. Hooliganism has been a recurring problem in football, with violence and rioting regular connotations of the beautiful game. A small section of Argentinian club Atletico Juventud's fan base earned themselves a position in this list when they invaded the pitch during a tense match between Independiente in January 2017. When referee Bruno Amiconi sent off a Juventud player, a number of ultras from the Argentinian side raided the pitch and attacked the ref and his linesman, all 3 of whom had to go to hospital to treat their severe injuries, and Amiconi needing 10 stitches for a head injury. The fans didn't just express their anger against the officials, they also targeted the team buses, smashing their windows and throwing stones at the vehicle. Aaron Cawley. Aaron Cawley earned the title of biggest thug in football when he ran to the pitch and punched an ex-England goalkeeper in the face. Devout Leeds United fan Aaron Cawley ran onto the pitch during a televised tie between United and Sheffield Wednesday and assaulted stopper Chris Kirkland. Claiming not to remember the incident because he was so drunk, Cawley was jailed for 4 months and received a 6-year ban from all UK football grounds for the assault. He had had 2 previous brushes with police, both involving hooliganism and fan violence, forcing his beloved Leeds to hand him a lifetime embargo from Elland Road. 4 years on from his crime, and Cawley was spotted on camera in the Leeds crowd, forcing the Yorkshire club to launch an investigation on how he purchased tickets, proving that they will do all they can to prevent dangerous and disrespectful fans from being connected to the club. Go Ahead Eagles attack Graafschap. Being a good loser is an important part of sportsmanship, a message that the fans of Go Ahead Eagles clearly haven't received. Following Graafschap's 4-0 thrashing of Go Ahead Eagles in an Eerste game on March 5th, 2018, the Eagles fans reacted with terrible behaviour. Graafschap players were celebrating noting the win that took them 6th in the Dutch 2nd Division in the away corner of the Adelaarshore Stadium, which sparked an angry reaction from the home fans. A number of ultras ran onto the pitch and began to attack the opposition players while they were celebrating. The fans were clearly frustrated and angry at their team's poor performance. Their terrible form had seen them slip from the top flight into the bottom of the 2nd Division. But the go-ahead Eagles weren't even under relegation threat, thanks to an agreement that no teams would move between the 2nd and 3rd Division this season. The violent pitch invasion showed the very ugly side of the beautiful game. John Hatton. In September 2017, UEFA were forced to open their 13th disciplinary hearing against a Celtic fan in just 6 years, when the Scottish Giants faced PSG in the Champions League. The French side had just scored their 3rd of 5 goals in the masterclass at Celtic Park, when 21-year-old John Hatton, draped in the hoops of green and white, invaded the pitch and attempted to kick Kylian Mbappe. The Tesco worker admitted he was guilty, and while he narrowly avoided jail time, was subsequently banned from every ground in the UK. Brendan Rodgers condemned the fans' terrible behaviour, distancing the SPL winners from any ideas of hooliganism. But historically, it's in the Champions League that their behaviour is truly exposed. During the side's qualifier against Northern Irish club Linfield, Green Brigade supporters held a pro-IRA banner, leading to a £20,000 fine and a 2-game closure of the fan stand. The boys have been fined over £160,000 for 12 different fan disciplinary cases in the last 6 years alone, proving that hooliganism is still a big problem. Boulogne Boys. Over its history, English football has been stained by hooliganism, but what you may not be aware of is that French fan took notes from its neighbours across the channel and began its own close connections to the problem. In the 80s, newly founded PSG opened the doors to the Parc des Princes to young supporters, offering cheap tickets in the Boulogne end of the stadium. The plan worked and the stands filled, but being influenced by hooligans in London and Glasgow, the Parisians struck up their very own ultras. They quickly became notorious for their far-right views, controversial posters and infighting between different fan sectors separated by racial and political divide. The violent attacks culminated in 2010 when Jan Lawrence was murdered during fan violence between different PSG fan sectors. The French court compelled the club to disband and ban 7 fan groups from the stadium. In 2012, the Qatari ownership has attempted to get rid of the problem by changing ticketing to stop fan groups organising blocks. And while a spokesman of the club suggests that problems have gone down by 85%, we're still waiting for the Parc des Princes to be 100% rid of the problem. Chelsea fans in Paris. In February 2012, a shocking incident took place in Paris that embarrassed the entirety of Chelsea Football Club. Ahead of a Champions League clash between the Blues and PSG, Chelsea supporters were caught on camera racially abusing a man on the Parisian metro. The fans were filmed aggressively and repeatedly pushing the Frenchman off the train, while chanting, "We're racist and that's the way we like it." The 4 fans identified as the abusers were 50-year-old Richard Barkley, 26-year-old William Simpson, and 20-year-olds Jordan Monday and Joshua Parsons. Following court action, although they denied charges of racism, they were each forced to pay compensation of €10,000 to the victim and were banned from attending all future football games. While the footage was both disturbing and shocking, it thrust the problem of racial abuse in sport into the limelight, as Chelsea, one of the biggest and most successful clubs in European football, were forced to publicly punish their fans. The death of Otávio Jordão de Silva. In 2013, an amateur football match in Brazil descended into horror following a refereeing decision. Otávio Jordão de Silva was officiating an amateur match in Brazil when he decided to show a player a red card. The 20-year-old sent off Josimir Santos Abreu. Annoyed with the decision, he threw Silva to the ground, trying to start a fight. As the young official rose, he revealed a knife, stabbing and killing the 31-year-old player. The supporters, along with the player's family, who had been watching the game, flooded the fields to get their revenge. They tied the ref up, stoned him before decapitating and quartering him, then putting his head on a stake on the pitch. Truly horrifying. The police arrested 1 person and are still searching for 2 people, including Abreu's brother. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, why not watch this lovely video right here? And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.